First, this was the height of the doorway to the attic. Second, I always wanted to have a hidden bookcase doorway. In this video, I'm going to take you step by step how I built the hidden bookcase doorway and all the issues that I faced along the way. I'm Eddie Field with Field Guided DIY. Let's dive in. So as I said, this didn't give us a lot of clearance that I looked for in the attic space, so I said, well, we're going to replace it anyway. Might as well make it cool. So what I found was this spanned the studs in the crawl space. So as you can see, that was the existing framing of the wall, and I built in the framing of the doorway, and I built it up with a 2x4 to frame it out. So I got the header supporting this middle stud right there that you see right there. So that span is exactly 29.5. So I've got the top plate and the bottom plate. So if you notice, their studs were not exactly plumb right there. So you see the gap that goes down to nothing. But this is plumb and this is plumb. I did that because the door frame and that hinge needs to be exactly plumb. That hinge bolt needs to be exactly over the other hinge bolt. So that took some calculating. So I put that top plate in, I put that bottom plate in. I found plumb on these two side studs. Then I built in my drywall on either side. Then I built the cabinet. Now what the cabinet is, the bookshelf and sides is made completely out of 1x6s, and they're doubled up on the top. So I cut those 25.5 inches. The side pieces, cut those at 61 even. The inside shelves, I cut at 24 even. So I've got that at 24, that at 24, that at 24, that at 24, and that at 24. So once I had all my stock cut, then I assembled it. And I attached the back. The back is just regular 1/4 inch plywood. Once I had the bookshelf together, then it came time for me to do the finish work or construction work on the actual doorway. Now what you're gonna see here is I had to splice in air conditioning ductwork. So I took it from there and I put in this splice piece to move this air conditioning ductwork, which was here, up, and fastened it up there, making sure I didn't have any kinks. I had free airflow. I just had to learn how to splice air conditioning ducts. And based on the airflow and what I feel from all the vents and the returns, I did a nice job. So once that was up and out of the way, then it came time for me to install the headers. I put the header in, as well as took out the framing, because this center stud that you have right here, right there, was down around here. So I had to cut that off at that height and build my doorway up. So as I mentioned, I've got headers right there, 2x4, supporting this area or this span right here. That carries the weight down on these studs right there, which also helps in frame in this doorway. Then it came time for me to start to set the hinge. Now the hinge is the most important piece. The hinge is carved in and embedded into the top plate and the bottom plate. You can't use a regular hinge for this amount of weight. You just cannot. This hinge is specially designed with a ball bearing for smooth gliding for heavyweight doors. I've used it in solid oak, solid mahogany doors that are upwards of 10 feet tall in construction. This is the first time I've used it for a bookshelf, but this is the hinge that you need for a bookshelf. And you can see the plate that I've cut right in there. So I mount the plate, I router it in there, and I carve it all out so it can have free access as well as adjustment. The adjustment on the top hinge is really important because you have to be able to put the hinge in place, that is, put the bookcase in place, and then adjust your pin so the pin comes down. Now what I did was I carved a hole so a really thin screwdriver can fit in there, and I can adjust and drop that pin when I'm ready for it. And there, it does a cantilever, so it does a pivot. As you tighten that down, that pin drops into to be received in the plate.
Mother Nature is about to put this system to the test. That's not the case. The market is against the clock.
Then once you have your hinge in place and it's holding up your bookshelf, then you can start doing the finish work. For the finish work, I had to mill a crown molding on the top of the bookshelf. So I milled that, and then I milled this small piece, this trim piece that sits between the bookshelf and the crown molding. I've got a little gap there. I maybe can tighten that up a little bit. I might even be able to just put some weather stripping in there to fill that gap and make it not look as prominent. Now for the side pieces, this is regular 1x3, and this side is attached to the wall, but this side is attached to the bookshelf. I do that because of the free swinging. You want that gap to be closed up on the hinge side, but yet cover up your magnet, your latch on the opposite side, the non-hinge side. Then it came time for the drywall. Now the drywall was such a big headache because, first of all, I'm not a drywall guy. Secondly, I tried to use this quick drying spackle, and it is a total nuisance. It's like this kids product called Floam. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it was like that, and it would dry different color. It was the worst stuff because I'm old school. I'm used to the mud. I'm used to drywall compound. I would recommend that you would completely avoid this phloem quick drying stuff. It was just a pain in the behind. Now that might be great if you've got just a few holes, nail pops or nail holes to fill. But for doing a drywall, for doing this whole section that we had here, that was a nuisance. I really wish that I had saved my time and my energy by just starting off with joint compound. After I got it all drywalled, I sanded it down and got it ready for the trim pieces. Attached the trim pieces that you see here. I even attached the baseboard that the bookshelf rests on. And I think that's a small gap, don't you? And then how do we secure it? How do we make it secure? Well, I've got a 90-pound magnet that sits back here. Has a plate there and the magnet's there. So it really takes quite a bit of effort to reach in and open it up. In addition, I have a deadbolt here so that even when I do close it up, I can secure it by dropping that deadbolt. Because of gravity, I'm so afraid of keeping it going down. I'm probably gonna move it so it has a side entrance because I don't wanna ever have anybody locked in here or have this locked out. Then I'm gonna have a real headache. I'm gonna have to get a Sawzall and completely dismantle the whole thing if this accidentally drops sometime. After 2 weekends, I've got a hidden bookcase doorway and it's considerably taller than the access that I had initially. I'm Eddie Field with Field Guided DIY, reminding you that you got this. You can take on this project. I'm gonna have a detailed drawing in the link in the description, as well as the link to the hinge that you're gonna need to take on this project. For more home improvement videos, click the image on your screen now. I'll see you in the next video.